Hey guys, welcome back to another Hillside Gardener episode, and today I'm going to just show you some of the fall preparation slash some new things that are going on to the hillside. Some things have been upgraded and some new things have been planted. So let's take a quick tour of everything I've done, and just for the record, this is how I did it. 100% manual labor, hauling all the compost and manure uphill from the stables that are about, I'd say, a quarter mile away. No joke, feels like it was uphill both ways. But that's what happens when you live on the hillside. You know, you're going to have to bring things uphill to your patches. If you know, not everything can be on the perfectly flat, level bottom land. This is just where I get to do it at. So, you know, you make do. Definitely a workout. I'll be honest with you, it's about 45 degrees outside. Nice, beautiful, sunny fall day, and I'm sweating like it's August. So, not going to complain about the exercise, but just so you know, when you get into hillside gardening, you better be prepared to have some strong legs, some strong back, and be prepared to do a lot of manual labor. Because, I mean, even if you have access to, you know, truckloads of manure or compost, or have someone deliver you wood chips or whatever you're doing, they're not going to be able to back it up to here. I mean, you're going to have to bring it. I mean, this is just off the woods here. I have to walk down the trail. Yeah, this is an old four-wheeler trail, but kind of comes up here, then do a little switchback. As you do the switchback, you come over here and into where the pepper patch was, or else you can try to go straight up the side of that bank over there, but it's really hard to do in a wheelbarrow. Ask me how I know. It's really hard to do carrying 5-gallon buckets. Ask me how I know. So doing the whole switchback method, it's much easier, a little bit more effort, but it's going to pay off a lot easier. But what I'm really trying to say is you're not getting a truck back here, so you're going to carry stuff by hand. But anyhow, let me start on this side down here and show you what I have added. Now, last year I did buy two, these are, I guess, Saskatoon service berries, shad bush, some other things people call them. Well, actually, when I was in Canada, we were hiking, and we were on the side of this cliff, basically, and we thought this lady, she was reaching over, and we thought she like lost her purse or something. She looked like she was reaching for something, so we went over to try to help her out. You know, we're like, hey man, is there anything we can help you with? Did you drop something? And she's looked at us like we were crazy. She goes, no, I'm picking berries. And we're like, oh, well, what kind of berries you picking? And they called them Chuckney pear berries. So it's just another one of the names. Happened to be in Newfoundland on the east coast of Canada. So I guess it's a regional varieties or different names, just regional names. But we tried these. She showed us what the plant looked like, what to look for, and through our hiking that day, we probably went 11 miles, I think, and every time we came around a patch of these things, delicious, absolutely delicious. They're almost like a blueberry, but not quite as tart. They are in the rose slash apple family. They're, I guess, in the palm family, but they're absolutely delicious. They can go to like zone 2. Don't like the super heat, I don't believe. So yeah, so I grew these last year in a pot in big containers, and they got overgrown. This particular one, I guess fire blight this summer, and all the leaves kind of came off of it, but it came back to life, and there's buds popping out on it. This section here is back to life. So I went ahead and added some manure, dug this all up. Gonna go water it in after I get finished this video, but there's one here, and this one over here is doing much better. It's right here. This one was not afflicted by the fire blight, but you know, some of the leaves are starting to change colors. It's fall, eventually they're going to fall off. It's not an evergreen. So yeah, there's two of these service berry bushes here. They'll turn into a small tree. Yeah, I mean, as long as the deer don't absolutely decimate these, hopefully they're going to pull through. I will maybe have to get some deer netting, kind of fence these off like I did the pepper patch over here, but you know, I don't have that material with me right now, so for about a week or two, these guys are going to just be at the mercy of the deer, knock on wood. You can kind of see a couple of the dried fruits right there. That's going to focus. These are dried, almost like raisined up, but they're, you know, blue fruit like that. So it did fruit. So there's hope there after all. Right here, I mean, sure you've seen this method done other places 100 times, but this is just cardboard. Then I had a bag of shredded paper they were thrown out at work, so I figured why not take that and put on 2 wheelbarrows full of pretty much not fresh, but definitely not well broken down horse manure. On top of that right there, I'll also get some grass clippings, some leaves. I'm gonna pile this up and just see what I can do and try to get this, you know, I'll do some kind of project in the spring with this section here, but I'm just trying it out. You know, I got plenty of room, plenty of space to experiment, so give that a shot. Not really sure what I'm gonna do with that yet, but you know, it's something to look at. This right here, we had a big tree fall down. This is just the brush and the limbs that are still around that will be cleaned up this fall. If you look back here, you know, the berries are down there. That's the shredded paper, manure stuff. This right here is gonna be cleared out, and I don't know what I'm gonna put, but I think I'll definitely do something right here. Maybe pumpkins or something I'll try up here. Let them just kind of vine over. I don't want to have to dig this up and tear out the ground up and move rocks and dig weeds out and everything. It absolutely just wears you down eventually, especially in this hillside clay environment. So yeah, maybe some pumpkins or something. Just let them, some zucchinis or squash, just let them vine around and do whatever they want and just save me the trouble. But yeah, so I went ahead and took the cover off the hillside pepper patch. And if you watched my last video, you'll know that this is probably going to have some potatoes in it, planted this fall. This would be a hillside potato patch, so I went ahead and just, you can see the residue of the peppers there. I just kind of took the loppers and cut the peppers off at ground level. I didn't till any of this up. You know, I left it how it was. I took the hoe and just kind of like, you know, furrowed out the walking paths that have been kind of just, as the, you know, the rain and whatnot washes the top of the dirt, the mounds kind of flatten out. So all I did really was just cut the peppers down and hill up around them. So now it's back to having three rows. I've carried about 5 loads of the manure up here. Hopefully you're catching this view. Sun's not too bright, but it's just the 3 rows have been established again with good walking drainage patches in it. You know, and that going back to why I do it like this, if you can kind of tell along this edge right here, it's probably not very, I'll have to work this row up right there, but you want to have a trench on the far side here. Reason being, as the water is going to come down the hillside this way, water is going to first come right here along this trench and pull up. Okay, so you're not going to get a big rush of water coming down. So it's going to slow the patches of water, and then it's going to filter through here. And the water that goes through that's going to filter this path, which doubles as a walking path, and growing here, another catchment plane here. Then here at the end, when I cleared all the old sod and all the rocks and junk out, what I did is I piled them up here on the front edge of this, and I got a big log I put on top of it, so kind of helps stabilize just whatever. And the grass is growing fine. This is actually acting as a buffer, I suppose, and this is going to be the ultimate last ditch catchment for all the nutrients. You know, you don't want all your stuff, you've hauled all this stuff up here and compost and leaves and everything, and just have it all just wash all the way down and out and into the, you know, down that way, out into where you don't want it at. So this hopefully is going to help at least filter out and catch some of that moisture and retain some of those nutrients that you can then take here, and as like I've hoed it back, you know, hoe it up and just keep filling it back in and keep adding, and over time this is going to just become a much more fertile and easier to work environment. So I can definitely tell from early this spring, you know, it seems weird, I was sitting in this exact spot kind of like reflecting on spring when I just first built this patch about how cool it is and how it's nice, and gonna just, you know, what are the possibilities before I planted the peppers and everything. And now it's fall, I'm kind of sitting back preparing for the next season, just thinking, you know, how much better the soil actually is than it was last year. Planted some bushes out here, so this little peaceful hillside patch here at my grandpa's house is definitely my little oasis. It's definitely quiet, good place to just kind of hang out and plant some things, watch some things grow, and just be out in nature. So oh yeah, let me show you 2 more things real quick. So neighbor across the street back at my actual house, not the hillside here, they were pruning their hydrangea bushes, and they were just cutting off big chunks of it. So I asked if I could take some of the cuttings, and they looked at me like I was crazy. So, you know, good for them. But so right here, this is a hydrangea. I kind of got the cuttings, rooted them, individually potted them up. So I went ahead and planted one here because the hydrangeas are going to do good in this acidic soil like we have here, and they don't want the full-on hot blazing sun. So you know, as you've seen through the pepper patch experiment, they're going to get nice awesome sun, but it's also going to be filtered and not completely just baking in the hot, you know, summer sun right here on the edge of the woods. So there's one hydrangea here. I have one here as well, marked it with a white pole so I don't come around weed eat it or something like that. But there's the other guy right there. Definitely need to water these guys. I also mixed in a shovel full of the dried, well-composted manure on this one, not the fresh stuff like that's on the garden or the paper over there. So definitely gonna fertilize these up a little bit, water them in, and hope they do all right. You know, there's just all the possibilities you can try. I don't think the deer like hydrangeas. I have them growing in my yard, and I have horrible deer pressure in the city, urban environment, as most of you may as well have that. So they haven't touched them, they don't eat them at all. So maybe the deer out here will be just the same, and add a little bit of flower or colors out here on the hillside. So that's just a little bit of the update of what's been going on the hillside, just kind of preparing it for fall, shutting it down. But you know, just because it's fall doesn't mean you don't plant things. It doesn't mean you don't get ready for spring. You know, this is the perfect time to get some things established. It's October 23rd, which typically is our first frost date, but I mean, it's, you know, 45, 50 degrees out, might get to 62 or something like that today. It's definitely sunny and awesome and warm, so definitely taking advantage of it. And in the 10-day forecast, we don't show any frost. We show a couple of days of rain. I think one day is back in the 70s of all things, and one day maybe 38 as the low. So what I planned out here, these guys will have enough time to maybe establish, water them in really well. They'll help them transition to the fall and get ready for that winter's nap and wake up in the spring ready to go. So this is Dave, the hillside gardener. Just leave you with that picture right there. Fall in Appalachia, man. There's something special about it. So hope you guys liked this, enjoyed it. Please subscribe, leave a comment if you liked what you saw, or have any suggestions about what you maybe want to see me grow out here, just as an experiment. Plenty of room to try things out. If you really want to see something, let me know. I'll find a way to grow it out here, or we'll see if the deer eat it, or if it fails, or maybe it'll be successful. You never know. We'll learn together. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time here on the hillside. Bye bye.